And I'm going to do a review on the trolling motor today. Trolling motor is a Minn Koda Powerdrive 45-pound thrust, 48-inch shaft. It's freshwater version. Works quite well. I mainly fish in saltwater, but the price of this compared to the cost of a saltwater, it's just no comparison really. And I read all the specs, and there's so little difference it doesn't even matter in my opinion. As long as you washing this thing off and rinsing it off every time you come out and you keep everything lubed up nicely and everything, you ain't gonna have no problems. And for the price of this, I can replace this thing 3 times and before I equal the price of a equivalent saltwater version. Plus the saltwater version weighs at least 15 to 20 pounds more than this does. And to get it, the only way you can buy them now is they're all remote controlled. And then you have to buy the foot pedals separate, and they're $200 just for the foot pedal, 200 bucks. And of course it is, it is a remote foot pedal. It's not wired in, so you have to change batteries every time, they go dead. Okay, the mount is pretty simple. It's front of the boat, of course. And the quick release mount is a Minn Koda mount. And it's a MKA-16-03. And it's metal, it's low profile. It just slides in and it overhangs a little bit. And you can use a couple of different mounts too. And it's just, I wanted to get it as far forward as I could to get it away from the bow a little bit, because I want the trolling motor to be up. It goes pretty close to the surface, and where I can go pretty shallow. And I'm able to stay in about 12 to 18 inches of water. I can just troll on down the road. And he goes, you get any shallower than that, and it gets a little tough, And in calm weather, I can be in 12 inches of water pretty easy and troll around with no problems. Once the waves start coming up and it gets bouncing up and down, I got to put it down in the water a little bit, because it brings the trolling motor up out of the water when you're going over the waves, and it makes a bunch of noise. So the mount's pretty simple. It's just 1/2-inch starboard, and he goes, it's back down to about just in front of the words Solo there, so a couple of feet long. And it's also, it goes all the way out and sticks out and completely underneath the mount. So, and it is solid. It does not move at all, not one single bit. He goes, it's pretty simple to mount. The only thing you have to worry about is the boat up here. If you look at the boat is really thin up here because we're at the front of the bow, So you have to be real careful, because skiffs have these the top deck is got a lip on it to keep the water from splashing up. Well, you have to be real careful and make sure you're inside the boat when you're drilling them holes, because you can pretty easily drill right down the side and then you got a hole. That's not a good thing. So there's only really 5 boats that are holding the whole thing down. And all right, this boat here, this boat here, and this boat here go all the way through. All right, and the rest of them, the other 4, just hold the mount onto the starboard. It's pretty simple. It doesn't move one single bit. I mean, it doesn't move at all. It'll never move. And I took and siliconed all the way around it, and then all the boats and everything. Of course, they're stainless steel hardware. They actually started getting a little rust, so I went ahead and siliconed on all and everything. So, that's probably crap from Home Depot or Lowe's one. Probably Lowe's, because everything I got from Lowe's, some of it ain't stainless. underneath. As you can see from underneath, that up here it looks like, you know, there's all sorts of room, but then you look underneath there and yeah, the boats are right up against the wall. A couple of them are. He goes, no, not much room at all. Okay, and all it does is just slides right in. Just lines up here, slides all the way forward. Pretty simple. Got a little thing, just goes right there. I'm gonna go all the way in with it. So that just, that's what holds it in. That's the only thing that holds it in. And there it is. And if you look at it down the middle, and with the motor over here, and that over there, that's where I usually leave it. It's pretty close to center, and the weight, it might be a little heavy over here, maybe. I didn't notice any lifting or anything, any way I run it. So pretty much irrelevant, you know. It is a little heavy on the front, so besides, you've seen the videos for the Solos, you know, front end is way up out of the water, and they say they get 21 mile an hour. I go, well, this one don't get out of the water that much. It's got all that weight up front. That's 25 pounds. Roughly with everything on it, it's about 25 pounds. So that's a good bit of weight to put right up on the nose. So it holds it down, slows the boat down about 2 mile an hour, roughly, you know. So, but with everything on it like that, I'll take 2 mile an hour, you know, off of it to have that trolling motor on there. Okay. The plug for the trolling motor comes through where the rod tubes were, and that's just a Hobie triple through mount. My trolling motor wire, runs through, and my depth finder wires run through it. So the other one's just plugged up. That one just comes through, and it comes to a heavy duty 50. I think it's a 50 amp plug. It's just pretty simple. It just slides in there, goes about right there. Goes underneath everything, plugs in the trolling motor. Pretty simple. Okay, it's the foot pedal, and comes with it stock, and it's fully adjustable from 0 to 10. Goes all the way to 10. It'll go about, about 3.5 mile an hour, something like that. And on 10, fresh battery. It also, you can click it and it run all the time. Pretty simple. And yes, that's a 1/2 inch blue foam underneath it. It's just toolbox foam. You can buy that at Sears. And all that's for is to get it up off the deck a little bit, because there's almost always water on this deck sometimes, you know. I mean, especially when you're going up front and everything, water comes up here. But it's never more than a 1/2 inch, so it just keeps it up out of the water a little more. That way it won't get as wet. And I mean, it's going to get wet, but it's not too bad. And pretty simple, just plugs in. And all my accessories and everything. There's my control panel for my lights and my depth finder and everything. And pretty simple. Battery just goes in there. It's strapped down, it goes around the two things, and strap that, tighten that up, it ain't gonna move. Not at all. All right. Okay. All right, gonna put it down. And gotta be careful. Make sure, all right, doesn't hit anything. Okay. Is it down? That's about the depth I've been running it. He goes, that's probably the where waves and stuff. It's not too wavy. I'll get it down about right there. And if it gets big waves or something, I got to put it down a little bit more. So, I mean, it ain't